College, you've made the grade, paid the price, and had some fun. But now what? 3.4 million college students will graduate in 2012 into an economy where we already need 30 million jobs. It doesn't take a math major to know the odds aren't good, but these students are their own best chance if they're willing to experiment. We're going back to school, taking over college campuses in America's heartland to learn who's actually hiring, how to get a job, and what it will take to create new opportunities to put the class of 2012 to work.
It's time to attack America's problems with a wildcat energy. Yes, we are live at the University of Kentucky as the 30 Million Jobs Tour College Edition kicks off for February 22nd, 2012. All right, welcome to Big Blue Nation, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming to you live from the University of Kentucky in Lexington, Kentucky. This, the first stop on the college edition of our 30 Million Jobs Tour. Good afternoon to you. I am Dylan Radigan, and we are here at the School of Pharmacy this afternoon. Of course, one of the biggest growth areas for jobs in America across the board is health services, health care. More on that coming up, but that's simply one industry. As we all know, we have a kaleidoscope of challenges, and we need 30 million jobs to solve those challenges in order to get this country back on track, from industrial investment to cradles of innovation to healthcare. Recent college graduates, among those feeling the jobs crisis the worst, 14% of them settling for either part-time work, 20% of them not using their degrees at all, and that does not count the millions of innovative, enthusiastic, and driven students who will graduate in our own country in 2012. Over the next 3 days, we'll talk a lot about how we as a country can match our students, their passion, their potential, their desire to help, like the Wildcats here in Kentucky, with the great needs of our nation, be it through full-time work, volunteering, experimentation, a word I like, or ultimately by freeing them from the things that are barriers, like student debt, helping to bring their ideas to change America to life at a time when we must change and change fast. We must create a culture of experimentation in this country in order to keep up with the incredibly fast-changing time we find ourselves in. And we begin with the big question on every undergrad and every parent's mind, for that matter. Enough with the talk. How is a student to find a job this spring? University of Kentucky alum Rebecca Christopher graduated in 2011 with a degree in mechanical engineering, is currently working, gainfully employed. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Charles Purdy, Monster.com's career advice expert, can tell us where the jobs are. He has the database. He can tell you where the work is and where he thinks it's going to come from in the future. And Jamie Jackson is a local recruiter here in Lexington at the Malone Professional Services Group, who knows exactly what it takes to get hired in his community and what we can learn in our own communities. And it's nice to see the three of you. Thank you for coming out. Congrats on getting the gig.
Thank you.
That's pretty awesome.
I know.
What are you doing?
So I'm a shift supervisor for Corning Glass.
Okay. So you're making my flat screen TV and this sort of, is that what's going on?
Yes.
Okay.
So we make cover screen glass. It's high definition, high quality glass.
Yeah.
Right now I am shift supervisor, so that means that I supervise 30 employees at a time.
And 1 year out of school, 30 people?
Yeah. I'm not even 1 year out of school.
Not
so.
either. That's a good job.
Yeah, I'm only 9 months. So, and I was hired into this position to eventually move my way into an engineering position.
Understood. Give us a sense, Charles, from Monster's perspective. You got a tremendous database. You get a lot of, obviously, people putting themselves into your database, and more importantly, you have a good sense of where the demand for work is.
Right.
This spring, graduating in 2 months, I'm looking for a job.
Right.
Where should I be looking?
Well, we've seen a 9% growth in overall jobs posted on Monster.com.
Just available work.
Just available work. A growth of 9% in the Monster
Over
Index over one year.
So the past year.
Yeah, January from 2011. And
so that's good news.
Yeah, that is really good news. And we're seeing really high growth in a lot of the fields you'd expect, the fields we know about, like high-tech, engineering, also healthcare, as you've talked about. We see a lot of jobs on Monster as well in transportation, legal, finance industries. I think, though, the best advice for students planning their long-term career is not to try to stake their bet on, quote quote-unquote, a secure industry. It's really about planning for the long-term future, and I love your term experimentation. It's about committing to a lifetime of learning and developing the hot
problem solving.
And problem solving. The hot careers from 10 years from now, we don't know what they are yet. 10 years ago, no one would have guessed that social media manager or mobile apps developer.
Pay you to do that.
That's a new thing. And people who get those jobs are people who've been paying attention to how things changed in their industries.
Jamie, I see you nodding the whole time, and you're sort of in a unique spot here because you really are trying to build bridges between the students here at this university and the employers in this community that want to help them get jobs. The traditional framework is exactly what we just heard from Charles. Find a secure industry, you become a doctor, you become a lawyer, you become an engineer, whatever it is. And what we're seeing is that the real skill, it seems, is your ability to identify the needs of a given business or a given community and then find a way to help solve those needs in a way that they'll pay you to do it. Is that a fair interpretation of the modern world?
Well, I think so. And the reason that I was shaking my head is it all comes back to this innovative problem-solving issue. You know, with new college graduates, I know what we look for at Malone is not only unique individuals who possess the intellectual and the academic credential, but also someone who can present themselves as an innovative problem solver that's not just going to be another spoke in the wheel, if you will.
So how does one do that? I'll just walk in and tell you that I'm an innovative problem solver. Does that do it?
Well, I mean, honestly, to me, I think the biggest component of that is your ability to work in teams. You know, working individually is not really the best way, I think, to present yourself as a problem solver. You need to come in, be a member of a team, and you know, really contribute from that front.
Go ahead.
And to prove it, I think recruiters have always hired on reputation, always relied on word of mouth and what they could find out about people. The great thing about nowadays with social media and the internet is anyone can create that reputation. It's about marketing yourself and branding yourself well and really paying attention to how you put your best foot forward online on social networking platforms
so
and things
Rebecca,
like that.
do you agree with that analysis?
Oh, yeah. It's all about selling yourself. I mean, because here I was coming out of college and I was applying for jobs that were very specific to energy or to automotive and never would have thought to look at something with management. And somebody suggested a job to me and I said, okay, let me go out there and take it. Let's see what I can do with it. And it's wound up to pay off in dividends.
Do you agree with what they've said about the culture, that it comes down to culture? And if you have a culture that's based on team activity, group activity, group-based problem solving, if you know how to do that, then you know how to run experiments, you know how to evaluate those things, and then you can really put yourself into the system.
You have to be able to show that you can work with others well. So you have to show that you can work in a team and you can work in a team environment because that's what companies want. They're not expecting you to be the end-all be-all, the one true
They just want you to help them. Because the reality is the companies frequently, wherever they are today, is not where they're going to be 3 or 5 years from now. So they need, if the company must be ready to adapt, the people that work in the company have to be a part of that adaptive culture, right, John?
Yeah. Companies hire you for what you can do, not for what you have done. Companies hire you for what you are going to be able to do for them in the future. And some of the ways you demonstrate that is by showing what you've done in the past and how you've adapted to changes and how you've really committed to staying on top of developments in your industry and in the world as a whole.
Yeah, we talk a lot in these events and speeches and moving around about how is the answer. That who, what, when, where, and why is something that you're constantly, it's going to change. You figure, listen, I don't know, it could be a different what every day. But if you have a high quality how, that you are then not only more likely to solve problems, Jamie, but that you are also more likely to put yourself in a situation where you can help the people around you.
That's right. And I think that a component of the how comes down to managing the expectations of a recent college graduate entering the workforce, as opposed to maybe looking for a job and focusing on the initial monetary benefit of that opportunity. Focusing more on getting any job that has a reasonable prospect of offering growth and piques the interest of the job seeker. It's very important because then when you go in, you show your work ethic, your commitment to the team. Growth opportunities will come after that, and it's hard for us to condition ourselves, but sometimes the process is more important than the result.
Yeah. Go ahead, Charles.
Yeah, it's really about focusing, I think, for young people, focusing on long-term results, and you can get real benefits from internships, volunteerships, not only from the skills you develop and the things you learn, but also from the people you meet. It's that network of people that you're going to impress and interact with in these positions that are really going to help you
But
later
I
on
will
down the line.
say, and I think Rebecca will back me up, if you become an engineer, you're going to get paid.
That's true. You will. On that, a year's worth of experience working, even if it's not the job you wanted, will go so far for you in that next job.
Thank you. A pleasure to meet all three of you.
Thank you very much.
Exciting times, actually, I think, as we see
so
it. We
too.
embrace this period of adaptation, of experimentation, of problem solving, and I'm encouraged by the 9% number in increased listings with you. So that's great news. Thanks to all of you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.